We're on chapter 3, Shaar HAbitachon, page 66. Hakdamos asher beruran ve'amitason yishlam la'adam habitachon ve'elokim hein chamish. The introductions, the concepts, the introductory concepts that a person has to clarify to himself, to be internalize them, to have bitachon, there are five. There are five concepts. In this chapter, he's going to go through the five concepts. Achas mehem. One of them, sheyaman ve'yizbar, a person should believe and clarify etzlo, his kabtzus hashiva in yanam belokim. The 7 conditions. In chapter 2, Shaar HAbitachon, we learned there are 7 conditions that you should only have bitachon, you should only have trust in somebody if they possess 7 conditions. And the first rule that we need to know, the first hakdama that we need to know, is that the only being who has all of these 7 conditions is Hashem. Asher b'his kamtzum b'misha botchem bo yitakim v'toach alav v'kvar zachartim v'herosi aleim b'shenizdam elim min hakazav v'heim. Says, I already mentioned them, and I cited verses from the Torah and Tanakh that came to mind, and now he's going to go through again these 7 conditions that a person needs to know, that only Hashem possesses these 7 conditions. Harishon, the first, Hashem has mercy on a person more than any other being at all. And he says that even Hashem has mercy on us, but not only that, the mercy that we receive from other people is because Hashem wanted those people to be merciful on us. So even the mercy that we receive from others is really in the end from Hashem. Like the verse says, I will give you rachamim, and I will give you mercy, and I will be merciful towards you, and I'll multiply you. He says here, they quote here on the bottom from the HAbitachon, he writes, he has a sefer called Machane Yisrael that he wrote for soldiers, Jewish soldiers going out to war. You know, they conscripted a lot in Russia back in the day. You had the Cantonists, and then even after that they conscripted Jewish soldiers. So how do you be an observant Jew when you're fighting in the Russian army? So the HAbitachon wrote a sefer, wrote a book for Jewish soldiers, how they could be successful in serving Hashem even in the Russian army, which obviously wasn't a place conducive to service of Hashem. And he writes, in that sefer, they cite here in chapter 10, that if someone's taken prisoner by the enemy, you shouldn't despair. It says, because Hashem can give mercy in the heart of your captor, that He'll have mercy on you. So you don't have to think that, oh, what am I going to do? By nature, this guy's my enemy, right? If the Russians are fighting the French or whatever it is, the Germans, there's no chance that this person will have mercy on me. The HAbitachon says, no, you don't have to worry. You have trust in Hashem. Hashem could instill in the heart of your enemy to have mercy on you. I just read a story over Shabbos in the Sefer Ben Torah for Life from Varno Lopiansky. I just read it for the first time over Shabbos. Unbelievable Sefer. It's really unbelievable. So here's the story. He's trying to bring out a different point from the story about the power of Kiddush Hashem. But I think this lesson's related also. So you might know the story already. There's a famous event when the Germans were taking over. A lot of people tried to get visas to leave the country. So there was one person, a Mr. Sugihara. Many of you may have heard of him. He was a Japanese consul in Vilna. Was he in Vilna? I don't remember. I think he was in Vilna, city in Europe. And Germany was allies with the Japanese, but for some reason, this Japanese fellow, Mr. Sugihara, decided that he wanted to help Jews. Jews came to him, and he was writing visas that they could leave to go to Japan, to escape the Nazis. First of all, which is totally unbelievable. It doesn't make any sense, right? Some random Japanese guy, what does he know about Jews? He wrote later that he said people were being hurt, so he felt he had to help. Hashem instilled in him mercy, to have mercy on the Jewish people, he saved thousands and thousands of Jews, and he lost his job because of it, because he wasn't allowed to issue so many visas, right? So you have this.
Told to stop, and he ignored.
Right, he kept going.
The only reason my wife and my kids are alive because of him.
Wow.
My wife's grandfather, who I was very close to, he was the direct recipient of one of his visas.
They say when he was on the train leaving, he was still writing visas.
They made him leave because he was going against their mission, and literally from the windows he was handing out. So
you have this person who's Japanese. He's an ally with the Germans. For some reason, Hashem put in his heart to save Jews. Now, it goes further. So the story of Rav Lopiansky was saying there was a Jew, I forgot his name, he was a Bachar in Yeshiva, and there was only 3 days left before he was being forced to go back to Japan, and he was able to write 2,400 visas, but he said he can't do it alone. So this Jewish man helped him. It was a Bachar at the time. He helped him writing the visas, and they needed more people to help writing. So who helped him? It was actually the third person helped him. It was a Gestapo officer, an officer in the Gestapo. So he said, this yeshiva guy says, you had 3 people. You have a Japanese diplomat, a yeshiva Bachar, and a Nazi writing visas to save Jews in Germany. He said it didn't make any sense. So what was the pshat with the Nazi officer, the Gestapo officer? Before he became a Nazi, there was a Jewish accountant who he dealt with. He felt was exceedingly honest. And he felt deep down that it wasn't so fair what the Nazis were doing to the Jews, so he wanted to help save some Jews if he could. So Hashem put in this person's head, right? Well, Hashem made it, he first of all, you see the power of living as a proper Jew, right? This guy saw him. Who knows what could happen in America, right? You have a good interaction with someone who isn't Jewish, and later on they're in a position of power. I think that could save a lot of Jews. That's how important it is to make a Kiddush Hashem. But also you see that Hashem put in this Nazi's heart at that time, he could have gotten killed for what he was doing. Put in his heart that,
He didn't do it to all of them.
I think he was just a cog in the machine, so he did whatever he could do, you know. Why was he a Nazi?
He didn't have power, he was just helping
he was like transcribing he's just writing, what do you call it? Writing the passports, the visas. But you see, Hashem could put into somebody else's heart to have mercy. And no matter what situation we find ourselves in, if we're under someone else's dominion, Hashem still puts mercy in his heart. This is, again, reading this Rabbi Rubashkin book, you see how they tortured him because he was Jewish. And Hashem put in Donald Trump's heart that he should pardon him. That's what happened. Okay. Vasheni, so that's the first thing. The second thing, sorry, I skipped the page again. Oh, did I? Yeah, I did. No, I didn't.
16.
No, 16, I'm good this time. The last time you were here, I skipped the pages, so I'm very, okay. Hashem, there's no way that could possibly help a person that is hidden from Hashem. Hashem knows every single way that could benefit somebody. There's nothing hidden from Him about how to help a person. But the nice thing is, and this makes sense, we are all Hashem's creations. Hashem created each one of us. Who knows most about an item? The manufacturer. Hashem's our manufacturer. Right? You have a problem with your car, you go to they might charge you a little more, but you can go back to the dealership. Right, and if the dealership doesn't know, they go back to the manufacturer. They're the ones who made the car, they know. Hashem knows what makes us sick. He knows what makes us better. If we know this by human beings, when we make something, you make a car, who knows best about how to fix the car? The person who made the car. And that's only something that's an extrinsic thing. But a human being makes something. He doesn't make something out of nothing, right? He doesn't produce a car out of magic. He just takes metal and he combines it with rubber and he adds this and that. I don't know how to make a car, but whatever. You take different pieces and you put them together. That's really all human beings can do. We can't make something out of nothing. But Hashem made us out of nothing. He totally made our intrinsic being. So just like a human being who just puts things together, he knows best how to fix something. So Hashem, which totally made us from nothing, all the more so He knows how to fix us, as much as we need. He knows what's best for us, what could damage us in this world and the next world. Like it says, I am Hashem your God to help you and lead you in the right way that you should go. Right? Hashem created us. And He gave us, not only that, but He gave us an instruction manual. Recently put together a pool, and it came from China, and it had an instruction manual. It was worthless. You put something together, you need an instruction manual. I don't know what was going on there. Anyway, no, they don't even give you instruction manuals. They take go and watch the YouTube video, and try to figure out how to put it together. They're just good luck. But anyway, Hashem gave us an instruction manual called the Torah. Hashem created us, and He knows the best way for us to live that will be most successful. That's called the Torah. When we live according to the Torah, everything that it says, will be most successful. Now, a person could choose to live a different way without God's instruction manual, and he might do fine for a little bit, but just like a car, if you put on the wrong tire, it'll go for a little bit, for a few miles, but eventually the car's going to stop working properly, the gravity of the car from the wrong tire is going to mess up the car, and you're going to stop. So to a person in life, if he lives a different way, not according to the Torah, he might do fine for a little bit. He might make a nice living, but eventually things aren't going to go well. A person has to live according to his instruction manual. Hashem created us from nothing, and He gave us an instruction manual called the Torah. The way that we'll be most happy and successful in life is by following that instruction manual. Okay, let's just finish these psukim here. But Amar, and it says, Ki et asher yav Hashem yochiach uka'av as ben yirtzeh. That Hashem punishes the one He loves like a father punishes the son that he favors. Again, something we've discussed before. People, all of us in our lives, we're going to suffer. We're going to go through difficult times. That's the way a human being is. There's no person that is free from suffering, free from difficult, challenging things. It happens to every single human being. That's how Hashem made the world. But the pasuk says that just like a father punishes his son, so too Hashem punishes us. So how does the father punish his son? Let's look at a father. Let's say a father has a son who's very intelligent. He's brilliant. He does very well in school. Except his father made a mistake. He bought him Grand Theft Auto, and he's up to 1 o'clock in the morning playing Grand Theft Auto on the video game, doing missions from the mob, speaking from people via headsets all around the world, murdering people in a very realistic fashion. And he stays till 1 in the morning, and he gets to school, and he can't focus, and his grades plummet. So the father takes away Grand Theft Auto, and he grounds his son, and the son's very sad. It hurts him. He was addicted to it. It's killing him. I can't play Grand Theft Auto, right? That's hard. I remember when I was a kid and I got video games taken away. It's very difficult, very painful. It hurts. It really hurts. But a father who wouldn't do such a thing, you'd say is a cruel father. You're letting your kid just grow up playing video games and not being successful in school. You're cruel. The same thing. Sometimes Hashem loves us, so He sees us doing the wrong thing. He punishes us. So how do we react to when bad things happen? We're to say, oh, I'm going through a difficult time right now. Hashem loves me, so He's not just doing this to make my life miserable. He must be trying to tell me something. So we think, what areas of my life need to be improved? Sometimes it's very direct. We can figure it out. Sometimes you have to speak to a spiritual advisor, or maybe there's several areas of our life that we have to do better, because Hashem loves us. He wants to do better. If Hashem didn't care about us, right, a father who doesn't care about his son, would say, okay, play video games all night. I don't care. Right? But a father who cares about his son is going to say, no, I know this is painful for you right now. You're addicted to your video games, but I'm going to take them away. And it's very painful, but this is for your benefit. Same thing with Hashem. If Hashem didn't care about us, He wouldn't punish us. Just you like going to the casinos and the bar all day and doing whatever you do. Yeah, go for it. No, but if Hashem loves us, He's going to make us correct our ways. And again, there's many reasons why a person could suffer. We've talked this before, that this is just one main reason that Hashem wants us to correct our ways, but there's many other reasons. So again, it's having these ideas clear when we're not going through difficult times, I think it makes it easier when we do go through difficult times, because when we're in the midst of the difficulty and we have all these emotions of how hard it is, it's very hard to have these ideas. But if we have these ideas in us before it happens, it makes it a little easier. Last thing I saw a mashal about difficult times from Rav David Ashir. He has a book called Living Emunah. It's a very nice book. So there's a lot of stories and mashalim in there. He said he had a friend who saw a caterpillar, a butterfly, trying to get out of a cocoon. And he felt bad. He kept hours and hours. The butterfly was trying to get out of the cocoon. He felt so bad, poor little butterfly. So he went with the little scissors and he cut the cocoon. And the butterfly came out, but he wasn't able to fly. Just started flying and fell. So he took the butterfly and he put it in a box, tried to help it. The butterfly couldn't fly. So he found out later, this guy, that the butterfly, when it struggles to get to the cocoon, the blood from the butterfly goes to different parts of the wings, strengthening the wings. Meaning the butterfly has to struggle and has to have a difficult time to get out of the cocoon. Since he helped the butterfly and the butterfly didn't have that difficulty and that struggle, he wasn't prepared for life. He wasn't able to fly. So sometimes Hashem gives us difficulties because we grow from them. When we have to overcome adversity, that strengthens our spiritual muscles, our emotional muscles, our intellectual muscles, that we're able to function in life. So the idea that he's trying to bring is that even though difficult things at the time, no one wants to go through them, but it really benefits us and they're really vital for our growth in general. That's why nowadays, I think the younger you are, the youngest people at the table, I think we were coddled more than the old people at the table. And you find, my grandfather, compared to me, he was so resilient. Went through the Depression, and they had World War II, and they had to deal with difficulty, and that made them stronger people. They could deal with a lot. What your parents or your grandparents in the Holocaust, right? No matter what these people had to deal with, that made them stronger. us, me growing up in the 90s in Manalapan, it wasn't exactly the same as growing up in the Great Depression. But I wouldn't want to grow up in the Depression. But you go through difficulty.
You didn't call on you when you raised your hand. That's really
right. Exactly. It's no.
It's really traumatic.
So it's just bringing out no one wants to go through hard times, but just bringing out the perspective that actually strengthens us and makes us grow as people. So stop here.